Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Taufikur Rahman Amin, and in this video, I'm going to tell you about the 13 types of text that is commonly taught in English, especially in Indonesian schools. We'll go over their definitions, purposes, and structures. Let's get into it. The first text is narrative. A narrative text tells a story to entertain or teach a lesson. Its structures, which is orientation, introduce characters, settings, and time. The second is complication, which presents a problem or conflict. And then there's resolution, which resolves the problem. And then there's coda, which is optional. It reflects the moral of the story. For example, fairy tales, novels, and legends. The second text is recount text. A recount retells events in the order they happened. Its main goal is to inform or entertain. For instance, a diary entry or a biography recounts past experiences. The structures first is orientation, which sets the scene to answer who, where, and when. The second is events, details the series of events in chronological order. And the last is reorientation, which concludes the story. The third text is anecdote. An anecdote is a short, funny, or interesting story about a real incident or person. The aim is to amuse the reader or highlight a particular point. The structure is abstract, which provides an opening remark to capture attention. The second is orientation, which sets the scene for the story. The third one is crisis, which describes the funny or unusual event. And the last one is the reaction, which shows the response to the event. The fourth text is spoof. Spoof are humorous texts that twist events or stories in unexpected and funny ways. They often include a surprise ending and are meant purely to entertain. Its structure is orientation, which introduces the characters and situation. The events, which explains the details, the series of the events. And the last is twist, which ends with an unexpected, funny conclusion. The next text is drama. Drama is a text meant to be performed or staged. It includes dialogue and stage direction and is written to entertain or provoke thought. Its structure is orientation, which introduces the character and the situation. The complication, which presents problem or conflict. And then there's resolution, which concludes the story, which often with a lesson. The sixth text is poetry. Poetry is a creative form of writing that uses rhythm, rhyme, and imagery. Poems can express emotions, tells us a story, or describes something in a unique way. Its structure has no fixed structure. It depends on the type of poem. The seventh is procedure. A procedural text explains how to do something step by step. Recipes, instructions, and the manual falls under this category. The purpose is to guide the reader. Its structure is: first is goal, which explains the purpose of the procedure. The second is material, which lists the item that is needed. And the last one is step, details the step to follow in order to reach the goal. The eighth text is explanation. An explanation text describes how or why something happens. For example, it could explain the water cycle, or how a car engine works, or how a thunderstorm works. Its purpose is to inform and clarify. Its structure is general statement, which introduces the topic, and then there's explanation, which describes the process or reasons in sequence, and then the last one is conclusion, which is optional, which summarizes or gives additional information. The ninth text is report. Report text presents information about something as it is. For example, A report on animal describes their characteristics, habitats, and behaviors. This type is factual and aims to inform. It has structure, and the first one is general classifications, which introduces the subject. And then there is description, which provides detailed information about the subject characteristic. And then the 10th text, which is news item. A news item informs the audience about important or recent events. It answers the 5W1H questions, which is who, what, when, where, why, and how. It has a structure, which first comes the headline, which summarizes the event. The lead paragraph provides the main details, which answers the, again, 5W1H. And then the last one is supporting details, which add more context or quotes. And the 11th text is exposition. An exposition texts are divided into two types. The first one is analytical exposition, which presents argument or to convince the reader of an idea. And the second one is hortatory exposition, which persuades the reader to take action based on an argument. It has a structure. Comes first the thesis, which states the writer's position. The second is argument, supports the thesis with evidence. And the third is reiteration, which restates the position. That is the structure for analytical exposition. Next is the hortatory exposition, which comes first is thesis, which introduces the issue. The second is argument, explains what the reader should act. And the last one is recommendation, which encourages action. The 12th text is discussion. A discussion text explores different perspectives on an issue. It presents arguments for and against and concludes with the writer's opinion or balanced view. The structure is: first comes issue, which introduces the topic, and arguments for and against, which presents both sides. And then the last one is conclusion or recommendation, which summarizes the discussion or suggests a solution. And then here comes the last text, which is review. A review evaluates a product, movie, book, or event. It includes a summary, personal opinions, and recommendations. The purpose is to inform and influence the audience. The structure is: first comes the orientation, which introduces the subject being reviewed. The second is evaluation, which shares the writer's opinion, often organized into criteria. And then the last one is conclusion or recommendation, which summarizes the evaluation and gives recommendation. And there you have it, the 13 types of text. Each type serves a unique purpose, whether it's to entertain, inform, or persuade. I hope this helps you understand them better. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.